Did you know that your sister hates you? Albert, the ventriloquist dummy, said to me in the semi-darkness. It fed me the same horrible words the night before and the night before, well, concerning different people, but always the same kind of bile. That the person in question hated me. Secretly despised me. Wished me ill. I don't believe you, I said, pulling the covers up to me. Please stop. Okay, asshole. Then answer me this. Why would I be lying about all these people? I had to stop and think for a second. Because you're miserable and you want everyone else to be as miserable as you. Nice try. But I don't experience misery. But humans can. Oh, very much so. Then the dummy went silent. Now it was my turn to experience hate. Hate at the inevitable silences that followed our conversation. I lay in bed, wishing Albert would just go away. For the record, I didn't come up with the name, Albert. It was the name written on the card inside its front pocket. The dummy had definitely seen better days. A finger had gone missing. Something happened to a large chunk of its head. Chips of wood were missing here and there. That's one derelict dummy, my dad grinned at me as he put it in the back part of his trunk. He promised to fix the dummy once he got up. But things kept piling up. He just never got around to it. My mom hated the thing, saying it reminded her of Uncle Ted. Of course, most people would agree the thing was legitimately creepy. That chunk of head missing, the crooked jaw, it made me shiver a little. The first time it spoke to me, I woke from a deep sleep thinking my dad had been the source of the creepy whispering sound. Then I heard it again. Miles. Miles, I know you can hear me. Needless to say, it scared the hell out of me. It didn't say anything more, but I knew the dummy had spoken. It sat there in the darkness, making my skin crawl. I was old enough that I knew I couldn't tell my parents a dummy had spoken to me because they would think I'd lost my mind. Old enough to realize I wasn't a kid anymore, but young enough that my dad had seen the dummy on the side of the road and wanted to indulge a gone-too-soon passion of my youth. So the dummy kept waking me up at night, tormenting me with hateful words. I tried throwing it away, of course. Not in the garbage, because that would be too obvious. I waited until one day when my mom and dad were out of the house to bury him in the backyard, way out by the oak tree near the edge of the lawn, so hopefully he wouldn't see it. But that didn't help. And deep down, I knew it wouldn't. Albert reappeared the next night without a speck of dirt on him. You think you could get rid of me that easily? Not a chance, he said that night. One night, something truly terrifying happened, even beyond what I had been experiencing recently. I woke to the sound of whispering, as usual, hateful words. Except when I rolled over to give a retort to Albert, I saw something glowing emerge from the hole in Albert's head. It looked like a mixture between a termite and a slug. I was afraid more than usual and clutched the covers to my chin. The termite slug snickered. You know what I am, Miles? The slug asked. Fear addled my brain and prevented me from speaking at first. After I regained my wits, I said, well, you look like a cross between a termite and a slug to me. Please don't eat me. The slug just snickered. I have much bigger plans for you, it responded. And for myself, too. I truly want a vessel I can be proud of. and then the slug disappeared into Albert's head, leaving me shivering with fear. After seeing that, I just couldn't remain in my room. I took my covers, I went to sleep on the couch. That morning, my dad kicked the couch hard. "Wake up, sleepyhead, we got lawn work." "And don't worry, you're both getting a big breakfast before that," Mom yelled cheerfully from the kitchen. We ate in the kitchen, sun streaming through the window. Should have been a happy day, but I just couldn't take my mind off the horrifying slug-like creature that I had seen last night. Once breakfast was over, my dad helped take the dishes to the sink, walking a bit stiffly. He never talked about his leg injury much, but he seemed to be managing. Out in the garage, my dad put a hand on my shoulder. "Everything okay, son?" Dad asked, a benevolent smile on his face. "Been looking a little down lately." I couldn't tell him about Albert, the termite slug, tormenting me at night with the horrible things to say about my family and my friends. I just told him I wasn't sleeping well lately, which was the truth, in a sense. We completed the lawn work without incident. I did most of it, and Dad thanked me with an affable, beaming smile. Thin black clouds began to appear in the sky. Dad said that he'd tackle the bushes in front of the house later. The grass was trimmed, and that was the important thing. I made a mental note to do the bushes for him. The rest of the day went by uneventfully, until something disturbed me from my sleep again. I was used to it by this point, still scared, but used to being scared, if that makes sense. I jolted upright, cleared my eyes, and looked in the direction of the sound. I stared at the glowing slug, fear growing. It seemed to be snickering again. An expression of evil humor, then it disappeared into the drawer. Nothing happened for a few minutes, and my heart did its best to fill the silence. The drawers began to move slowly in and out one by one in order from top to bottom. I could hear Albert's evil snickering. "I told you, I'm on the search for the perfect vessel. I will find it." As I took my covers and pillow downstairs, I thought about finally telling my parents about Albert. I just couldn't keep going on like this. I could barely sleep at night, and they would only put up with me sleeping on the couch for so long before they demanded I tell them what was going on. I put the covers and pillow on the couch, walked to the kitchen to get a glass of water. I thought about Albert's words. He said he wanted the perfect vessel. My hands on the edge of the sink, I continued to force out the answer. The perfect vessel. Albert had gone from the dummy to the dresser. They were both made from wood, and Albert very much resembled a termite, a slug too, but point being mostly termite. And just as I put the pieces together, I heard a loud thud on the floor. I ran out of the kitchen and practically leapt upstairs. I found my dad sprawled out on the floor, unconscious but breathing. My feet bumped into his wooden leg. Mom came out and we helped him to his feet. We managed to do so, but he stumbled on his leg, and after a minute, he seemed to stabilize. We were able to guide him back to bed. Fear growing in me as I saw Dad sitting there, struggling to regain full consciousness. "Do you need anything, dear?" Mom asked, putting a hand on his slumped shoulder. Dad just shook his head, almost slobbering a little. Within an hour, he talked, slowly but coherently. The words eventually came more quickly, and once it seemed like he had mostly recovered, I said goodnight. I was going to my room, but I'd be within earshot if he needed me. Inside my room, everything was quiet. I couldn't shake the eerie atmosphere, half expecting Albert to pop out at me, crawling out of the dummy shell of a head. But it didn't. I wandered over to the dresser. I didn't even bother to turn the light on. Words had been etched into the top of the dresser. From wood to wood is simple enough. From wood to human is a major achievement. I could hear Albert's evil chuckling. And I left the room in a panic. Hey there kids, it's me, Mr. Creepypasta, and I just want to make sure that all of you guys are still staying safe and doing your best to stay inside and keep yourself quarantined if you can do so. For those of you who can't, really appreciate you guys doing what you have to do. So, all the best to all of you who are still working, and all the best to all of you who are forced to kind of stay home and are not able to work. If you guys are missing out on a lot of the conventions, which at this point, all of them that I was planning on going to this year, with the exception of San Japan, looks like have been either canceled or pushed back. If you guys were looking forward to any of the conventions this year and are missing out on a lot of the artwork from some of your favorite authors or artists, take a look in the description down below. At least until the quarantine is over, you'll be able to find links to a bunch of my artist friends as well as authors in the description of every video. And of course, I will be bringing you guys stories every single day from now until the end of time, available here on YouTube as well as here on the podcast on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, and Google, and wherever else you can get podcasts. And now a very special thank you, big thank you, the biggest thank you I can possibly give to all of you who support on patreon.com/Mrcreepypasta, who help keep the lights on in my house. Patreons such as Jordan Alexander Sanchez, Ken Lando Higuchi, Brianna Van Tine-Janzen, Chompski, TheRedOakShieldVirus, Sindee Barney, G. Weevil 3, Diana Kraus, Stephen VanHuss, Tristain Pelton, Nico, TheGingerBroz, Dante Rowe, Raphael Rodriguez, Lastbladesong, Eliminator 86, Nebsky, SteampunkSinner, Kaleb Dougal, Daniel Poulsen, Sky Harbor, The Homeless Bird 93, Gabrielle Undefined, Barbie Carmen, Liam Newman, Aaron Stormcrow, Dr. Strawberry, Barbara Masio, Thomas Burgett, Azazel Rotten, Let's Get Scared, S-Man, Brandy Hasanori, and King DDD. Thank you guys so much for supporting on Patreon, as well as all of you that are shown in the description down below. And sweet dreams, everyone.